Hello guys, and I am back, and today we are going to be going over the clone tool, one of the most universally used tools for canceling out a part of the image and making it look like it was never there. You know, what everyone wants to do in Photoshop, make something disappear from the background or do something crazy. This is what people use to do all that stuff you see on the internet with combining images and making people look like they have scales, and there's a lot of things you can do with it. It's a great tool. If you go to it on your left, it is the stamp. Just click it. It is the clone stamp tool. And if you open up this image, it is called CH2 Signs. If you go to pluggertech.com, I'll have a link to that in the description. If you go to downloads, it will be called Clone Tool, and this image will be in it for you to follow along and practice. So if you want to go download that now and follow along, you can do that, or just download it later. So first, the whole point of this is you are going to try to clone out 2 or 3 of these signs. You could do 1 if you want, but it's just more practice for you, and it honestly pays to get really good at this tool. So let's start with an easy one. Let's zoom in on the emergency calls sign. So actually, before I show you the signs, let's just show you the sky first and how it actually works. So this is your picture. What you're going to want to do is select your clone tool, increase the size with the brackets to whatever you want, and you hold Alt and you click. And what you're doing is you're setting a point where you're going to trace another place and gather from that point you just set. And I know that sounds confusing, but you'll see in a minute what I mean. So if you set your point here and you Alt click it, you release Alt, you go somewhere else to draw, and as you can see from your pointer, you're actually drawing from where that is. So if I go down, you'll see my pointer over here on the left is going down also, and now it's tracing these trees. And my pointer is over on the left I'm gathering the image from the point on the left and placing it where I'm drawing with my brush. So if we wanted to remove these trees up here, we would take a point from the cloud right here, Alt click, release Alt, then go down to the trees. You see how the image follows around? Go down to the trees right here and brush over and try to remove them while looking good. And see, now there's still clouds there. It's not just a brush. So we continue to do this, Alt click somewhere else, and then release Alt, and then paint. And see, I'm getting the building too much, so what you want to do is make your brush a little bit harder, maybe about 60%, and that is a little better. So tracing across, so we can see we accidentally went too far, so we Alt click again on the clouds and trace over. So if you do this, at first you're going to notice that it's looking really choppy and weird, but you have to practice and gather your source image from somewhere else. You can't keep grabbing the same thing, otherwise it's going to be a pattern throughout the whole thing. So if you kept grabbing the clouds from here, then here, then here, you see how there's a pattern in the sky? You don't want that. You want it to look very natural, like it's actually there. So if I just quickly clone this out, Now it doesn't look perfect, but you can mess around with it. Change the opacity to about 30, then clone it back, and you can mess around with it, make it look real. When you zoom back out, it will hopefully look like the trees were never there, and you can practice over on the side. And then once you're done with that, this is where it really tests what you've learned. You zoom into a sign and try to clone the sign out without messing up the shingles and make it look natural. So for this, a square brush is very, very useful. So if you go to clone stamp and you go up to brushes, click the arrow, and you can go to the play button, and I'm pretty sure they're preloaded in here. And you go to square brushes down here. Now I'm pretty sure those are there for you, but if they aren't, I think you can click load brushes, and okay, so I might have the square brushes on myself. I'm not sure if Photoshop has them, but for this I'm going to use a square brush, and if they are not there, then you can always load them in with the brush tutorial that I have previously. So you make it about the size of a shingle, and you want to start from the top first. So you Alt click for your source image, and you can see your source image being dragged around, and you want to line it up with this shingle or wherever you want. So my opacity is still at like 30, so I need to drag that back up. And you drag it straight across. And then you try it again. You Alt click. Drag it straight across. Try not to mess up the shingles. And then you can just fill in this gap with this. And see, that whole row is now cloned out. And if you repeat this for the other rows, what you can also do is a fast way that I like to do things. It's not so great for the clone tool, but it's a shortcut that I never taught you guys. When you're using any brush, if you click, then hold Shift, and then click somewhere else, it will draw a straight line to wherever you clicked from your previous click. So if I clicked here, then I go somewhere else and hold Shift, then I click again, it will draw a completely straight line across. Now that can be kind of dangerous in cloning, but for this particular thing it works pretty well. So as you can see, I mean, I could keep going and doing this, but the whole point of these tutorials is for you to try it. So if you go download this picture from the website that it's in the description, then you can try it on your own. But as you can see, when you zoom out, this particular area of the image looks like it has always been there. You can't tell that it's been cloned out. Now, you could try to get as many signs out of here as you can and make it look like a normal building, but in later lessons we will be doing normal pictures that aren't for tutorials, and we'll have some contests on this channel pretty soon, which you can possibly win money or something, depending on what people want to do. If they want to have a free contest, or everyone pays like $1 or something, and then the winner gets everything. So whatever you guys decide you want to do, that's what we're going to do. So just comment below, tell me how you thought about this tutorial and what the contest type you would like to have is, and I will be uploading tutorials again shortly. So yeah, thanks for watching.